Another old school Nutnfancy review video. Hey guys, thanks for joining me. No music, just minimum production to get the information out there. You are looking at my Rock River Arms entry tactical Duracoated in Black Hawk Coyote Tan. We're going to talk about this. The Bipod. What I consider to be a very viable, high value bipod option for you. I'm going to cover the specifics briefly if I can. First off, I'll start with this. If you guys have been watching the Nutnfancy project for any length of time, you probably know that I am not a tactical elitist. That is a Nutnfancy term I introduced in one of my run and gun videos, and basically it means someone who perhaps buys an item not for utility but for tactical impressions. In other words, to impress their buddies, their forum dudes. Hey, check this out. It's expensive. It has a good reputation. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean to broad stroke it. Just because someone buys a high-ticket tactical item does not make them a tactical elitist. It almost depends, pretty much depends on what their motive is. If someone just likes, I don't know, a SIG like me, which is a very expensive pistol, second type of cool, first type of cool, rock on. I say more power to you. But I see a lot of dudes spending a lot of money on items that are way overpriced, and I think their motivation is just to have an impressive looking piece of gear. That's not me. I like something that works, that's high value, that's moderately priced, and that just gets the job done. I mean, what's on the table? For instance, it's a Rock River Arms. Okay, a high value AR-15 you've seen in the project, popping thousands of rounds. It just keeps on rocking and rolling. Superior accuracy. It's just an excellent all-around AR-15. But we're talking about bipods. Okay, and you can go out and spend several $100s on these tactical bipods that are highly touted or seen on television or talked about in certain forums. I say don't waste your money. You can get a high-value bipod that will get the job done for around 20 bucks. What? 20 bucks for a bipod, Nutnfancy? No way. Well, yeah, way. Let's talk about what that job is, incidentally. A bipod is a portable shooting bench in my book. Okay, if you've seen our run and gun, especially the sledgehammer, generally at that 35-yard oblique target, the guys that score well on that are the ones that achieve good stability. The ones that dominate it are the ones that go to prone. And they can either, I don't know, rest their mag in the dirt, whatever you have to do to achieve stability. If you watched Armed Serenity, you saw me running this exact setup right here with this exact bipod, dropping it right down in the snow, prone position, max stability to get some really good accuracy and, scores in the game. And that's what it kind of is. It's a game, it's a tactical course, but you're gaming it. You're trying to get max accuracy. That's what this will do for you. Does it work in all tactical situations? No. A lot of times it's inappropriate. A lot of times you don't want to carry it on your gun. It's too heavy. You see in a lot of my sledgehammer runs, I'm not running a bipod because for me, and the speed factor to deploy that bipod, get up from the bipod, it just depends. It's not something I always want, especially if I'm shooting off barricade. It just gets in the way. But in a lot of situations, especially if you're just, you're just shooting for accuracy, zeroing your rifle, portable bench rest. Love it. Okay, so I said $20. What brand is this? Here you go. Let's cut to the chase. UTG. What? UTG stuff sucks, Nutnfancy. Well, no it doesn't. It just depends on what it is. I cannot broad stroke the UTG brand and say it's all good, nor can I say it's all bad. It just depends on the item. What I'm turning you guys onto right now is the UTG Tactical Foldable Bipod. This one right here. Look in annotation where I recommend to buy it. That will may change over time. About $20. You're going to get a bipod. I have several to show you. This one, of course, is Duracoated. By the way, it has a fair amount of wear on it. Doesn't really show with that Duracoat, does it? There's other ones on the table I want to roll in front of you. Here's one. One of my first ones, and they're so inexpensive. I have several of them. This one's painted in Alumahide 2. Okay, not Duracoated, and you can kind of see how that's worked. I've used it for both precision bolt rifle shooting, AR-15, and it works great. And I love the color, but you can see with the Alumahide, not super durable, and that was sanded too. And let me show you what that looks like. Some guys will say, well, how do you prep it before you paint it? You don't have to paint it. You can just leave it black. I mean, I'll pop this one open real quick to show you. as it comes out of the box. I wasn't planning to, otherwise I would have had it prepped. Oh, what do you know? It's a sealed package. I might need a knife. Benchmade 2550. Rocket. Happens to be my EDC choice today. No, it wasn't set up. Totally genuine. Alright, that's what it looks like when it comes out of the box. Okay, I'll get to the mounting here in just a second. Not bad. A lot of guys will say, hey, I like the black. Rock on, keep your black. No problems. A lot of guns nowadays, I'm doing color schemes for certain reasons. You know, low profile, second type cool, whatever. This is what it looks like when it's prepped. I sand it with 400 grit sandpaper, and it does take a while. This one is prior to Duracoating. It's going to get shot with a shot of Duracoat, going on a precision bolt gun. Yes, in testing in the Nutnfancy project. Okay, this is the attachment method that I love, and this is a huge advantage of the UTG Bipod, that it has minimal amount of accessories needed to adapt to Picatinny rail. Okay, I'm going to roll in a Harris Bipod by way of contrast. Here we go with an excellent Harris Bipod. I have lots of shooting hours off of these. I love them. They're great. They are, however, first off, heavier than these. 13.5 ounces, 11.5 ounces. And that's with the YHM Picatinny rail adapter. gg&g also makes one, around $25. A lot of guys forget this. They go, well, I love a Harris Bipod. Rock on, but you're shooting a railed gun. In other words, one with a Picatinny rail. How are you going to put it on? You're going to need an adapter that adds another 2 to 3 ounces, like that. Keep that in mind. Harris Bipod, great option. Very expensive though. I shouldn't say very. I've seen them up towards $75 though, compared to $20. Okay, exterior springs. Some guys may not like that either. I'm not going to get in the Harris features. We're going to concentrate on UTG. Notice this as it comes out of the box. First off, it has more hardware included, how you can adapt it to a swivel stud. I'm not going to really get into that. I'm concentrating on tactical uses. All you do is take this off, and it is made, purpose-made for Picatinny rail. Okay, there is one disadvantage to the UTG, however, you need to understand before you get it. This is a large hex head. It's sealed with an O-ring mount. What I do is I take that off, I shoot it with brake cleaner, get all the residue, the grease off of it, and then I put red Loctite on there, put it in the vise, and I crank this sucker down as hard as I possibly can. Get it? Because you do not want this rotating. I think it's designed to swivel and have a little bit of cant. Personally, I don't like any swivel in my bipods. I don't. I just like them to lock tight and mimic that bench rest, that bench rest quality, as close as I can get. If you Loctite that bolt with red Loctite, I mean really cranking on it, you're going to find this is be a very stable bipod. Let's go back to the Lumen High coated one. I'll show you the features. Spring-loaded legs. Actually, first off, let's talk about deployment. Guys will say, well, I really love the deployment of the Harris, for instance. It's really fast into action. Rock on, I understand what you're saying. Notice the Armed Serenity series when me, Nutnfancy's running this. How quick it was. I just come down here, I push this button down, voila, it's deployed. Incidentally, these are steel legs here, aluminum body, and these are reversible. It tells you on the package or in the instructions if you want to reverse them how to do it. Okay, so that's kind of a gee whiz. How about the legs? How do you extend them? Spring loaded, unscrew them. It will take a little bit of training, meaning that you're going to have to get used to it. And it doesn't have like notch deployments. You'll have to figure out, well, I wanted about that, about that length. Then you just tighten it down. Another advantage of the UTG tactical bipod from many hours of use is that it really locks those legs. It will not collapse on you. It's a strong bipod, once again, after you take care of that hex head issue as it attaches to the Picatinny mount. By way of contrast, now I'm going to roll in a Caldwell bipod. One that I've shot with, not tons, but enough to know that I don't like it. It's right here, running off a Savage 17 HMR. This is a Caldwell, what do they call this one? Clutch prone, about $55. It's only 10.5 ounces. Several things I don't like though. First off, non-spring loaded legs, so you have to pull them out, wasting time, and then you crank down the the locking collar, and you think you're good, right? Well, then you start pressing on it, and it folds. You see that? Let me crank it down more. Still folding. Caldwell bipod. Yeah, I'm not digging it so much. Also, it has a 20-degree cant feature built into it that I also don't like. I told you I didn't prefer that, and this is one of the reasons why. That I don't really mind the side-to-side, actually. This I can deal with because you can still achieve good stability with it. This spring thing right here, the rocking side-to-side, I do not like in the Caldwell. Your mileage may vary, I know. Oh, and also, it's meant for a wood stock. See how that attaches to the Savage? Perfectly to this wood stock, right? Nice. What if you want to adapt it to your free float AR-15 forend? Again, we're right back to square one. You're going to need an adapter, adding weight, complexity, and cost. Back to the UTG, it's all included. If you're running a tactical firearm, you don't want to break the bank, you want to just use something that works, dudes, buy the UTG. I've been running them for a year now. Hardcore running them. They haven't failed me yet. Will they fail me in the future? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. They might. You know, one day they just might break down. I just haven't seen it. Not in the shooting I've done in the Nutnfancy project. And you guys have come along for the ride. You know, I post all those videos for, you know, fun and entertainment, showing you that. But it's also background to show you the gear in action so you can reference it. You can go, yeah, dude, he ran it in Armed Serenity. He's ran it in, you know, Sledgehammer, Breaking Contact, whatever the gear item is. It's kind of a reference point, right? Same with the UTG. I love it. I think it's rapid enough for deployment. It locks solidly. There is a little bit of movement, but honestly, I've never noticed it. I never go, oh, you know what? I wish that would lock tighter. Attachment to your Picatinny rail is easy. Now, if you're a good TMPer, I'm joking, of course, you should always have your sack with you, your Swiss Army knife, right? I like the Cadet. It's always in my pocket. Okay, maybe not always, but high percentage of carry it's in my pocket. And the reason I bring that up, because with your Swiss Army knife, you'll have a screwdriver. Maybe it's your multi-tool, your Leatherman, your Gerber, whatever it is. But now you can tighten that up. You could also use a coin if you want. Sometimes I'll flatten my Cadet like that and I'll tighten it onto the rail, like so. Okay, so it locks on tight and it's unobtrusive. Here you see it mounted. Again, this is a Duracoated UTG bipod, about $20. What else do you want from a bipod? You know, it locks solidly, it's quick enough to deploy, it's easy enough to adjust the height, and it stays adjusted if you crank down those locking collars enough. Remember, you got to do that. If you don't, then yeah, maybe it'll fold on you, but it's not the bipod's fault, it's your fault. $20? Seriously? Bipod? Not a tactical elitist, sorry, I'm not. I just like stuff that works. It doesn't, you know, rip you off in the process. That's Nutnfancy recommending the UTG $20 bipod in the Nutnfancy project. Thanks, guys. We'll do some more of this later.